is that which the breeze on the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, hath concealed, hath
Check. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm back. My freaking stuff wasn't working, man. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this colonizer music. Papa Pickles, what up? Colonizer music. Yeah.
And what war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace.
Yeah.
And rescued land.
Good. You can't. You truly can. Welcome to the channel, new subscriber. Yeah! This is the Derek O'Shea Show. Welcome to the revolution. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. How you guys doing? I got the Rumble chat going on just in case people want to jump on the Rumble, whatever. Rumble, YouTube. I like YouTube. Let's spam the YouTube chat up. How are you guys doing today? Papa Pickles, what's good? I am currently live on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Man, dude, that version really was tickling, getting me going, if you know what I mean. Doctors are kind of worried that there are worms colonizing my heart muscles, but let's face it, you can't have everything in the world. No, you cannot. I'm shooting my air at the neighbor's store. Hey, I have a Toyota, you son of a gun. I'm legitimately surprised that the YouTube algorithm allows a Star Spangled Banner on their platform. Yes, I will most likely be either demonetized or have to replace that song once it gets through the algorithms or through the platform, if you will. Oh, I just spilled a little bit in my nose. God, how are you guys this fine Thursday? Are you enjoying your Thursday? Are you feeling good about your Thursday? I've got some clips lined up and an exclusive interview with Kamala Harris at the end that, God, I can't wait to share with you guys because she's beautiful and brave, and you can't have everything in life, but she really has it all, if you know what I mean. Those are speed holes in your Exactly. I got my Toyota from Iraq and Afghanistan. I can't figure out which one, but it came with all this, came with a huge black flag, and I thought I'd just keep it on there. Simpsons reference. Doing all right. Just had 2,000 pounds worth of tin dumped on my front yard. Okay. Did you have a drive-by? That's not tin. That is cheap ammunition. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw this and I thought it was so stupid I had to share it. But guess what, everyone? There are new exclusive photos with Johnny Depp and his new lawyer girlfriend. During the defamation trial in Virginia in April, it's revealed that the two are seriously dating. Oh my God, we have all been waiting for the day that Johnny Depp would start dating his hot, sexy lawyer. And now we have it. Here she is. The best part is that she was dating someone else while they were in court. Don't you feel bad for the other guy knowing that you took the L? You're just not man enough to be with this. Oh, what is that? What are you smoking? That better not be a joint, young man. And what is on your Z? He's a Putin supporter. Oh my God. Okay. But now they can just go around and sue all the peeps, especially Disney. All right, Johnny Depp, good for you, man. A heterosexual relationship in this day and age. How honestly, thank you for bringing that up, Pickles. Honestly, that was like my first thought. Was like, wow, this is disgusting. Like, I don't know how to celebrate this. This isn't anything in the LGBTQ plus agenda, and I don't know how to get on board with it. It's like, do we still celebrate this kind of stuff, or do we condemn it, or wish that Trump, Johnny Depp would finally come out of the closet? I'm not sure. There's nothing wrong with pro-Putin and cleanse your mouth. Yeah, I seriously, I should probably make like an InfoWars multivitamin, but call it pro-Putin. This pro-Putin. Man, it's got me going. It's got me feeling young again. I love pro-Putin. Yo, what up, Rumble? Hello, Derek. Get him hell. I'm trying to. Cordis Willow. I don't know how delayed Rumble is, but I appreciate we got Rumble chat going. Praise God, dude. Freaking YouTubes. But I give it up for all my peeps. Also, as we continue down the line, the story that the media refuses to talk about. Why? Because it doesn't fight for lizard people. Yes, exactly. The story that nobody in the media wants to address. Because it's icky, and it doesn't fit the narrative, and it goes against everything they believe in. Because what they believe in is that right is the one that's violent, but you and I that have brains and have ideas and have our own thoughts and ideas and morals, and we have eyeballs and IQ over the 25. We graduated 6th grade. Thank you, Papa. BRB. Okay. A man named Shannon. Yes, a man named Shannon killed Kyler Ellingson, 18 years old, because he was part of a Republican extremist group. But apparently, guess what? He wasn't a part of any Republican extremist group. This guy just thought he was doing the Lord's work. Because as I constantly say, the left is part of a cult. All right. They're part of a religion that they just believe things, whether it's fact or not, but they just believe it. I constantly get comments all the time for videos that I post up, and it's never rebuttaling or debunking anything I'm saying. They're just attacking me. Why? Because the left is violent. They don't know how to engage in conversation. All they know, the language they know is violence. And here's a perfect example. They constantly bring up January 6th, like January 6th is the worst thing that's ever happened to United States, but it's not. They constantly bring that up saying that's the right, that's extremist, but you and I know that we watched The Summer of Love and how not loving it was. And here's a perfect example of this. A North Dakota man charged with killing a teenager at mind you, a freaking teenager. And Shannon ran over the kid. Exactly. A teenager. All right, if you are a grown man getting into arguments with teenagers, you have a problem. I don't care what side of the aisle are you on. If you're on the right and you have a far leftist 18-year-old, which happens a lot because when you're young, you tend to lean more towards liberal because you just want free. You want to feel good. You're emotionally based. You're emotionally charged with a lot of your ideas. It's like if something sounds like it's not fair, it makes you angry, makes you frustrated. You jump out of your skin. You're like, I want the best for everyone. But then when you grow up and you realize the government lies to you constantly, they gaslight you constantly, that you start to wisen up and you go, oh, they've been lying to me. They're just getting more powerful. They're becoming more rich. They just want to take my rights away. And then you start to realize and you start to read the news and start to diagnose things that are going on in the world. Shannon Brandt, 41. I don't even feel like I want to say his name, but I'm saying it. 41 years old, decide to kill an 18-year-old boy. I'm sorry to curse, but this shit pisses me off. Okay? We are not coming together. We are not seeing eye to eye. We are not just having differences anymore. There is literal lines being drawn. And I don't want to be this person that wants to encourage that, because I want always to be able to have a conversation with anyone. I want to have a conversation with you. I want to have a conversation with somebody completely different, but the left doesn't want conversation because they see conversation as hate speech. They see conversation as violence. And so they equate this guy running over this kid as the same thing as you're speaking. And once you put that in the context and the reality of life, you start to see that this isn't a game anymore. This isn't a conversation anymore. We're not going to all of a sudden become American and hug each other and love each other at the end of the day. There's one side that says, if you do not submit to what I want, I will do whatever it takes to destroy you. I will cancel you. I will take your finances away. We'll take your job away. Oh, you won't take that? Then I'm taking your job. That is the line, unfortunately. So as I constantly say to people on the right, people in the middle, people, libertarians, Republicans, conservatives, logical thinking people, anarchists, capitalists, whatever side of the aisle on, you need to realize that it's the left that is the most aggressive in today's culture, and the ones that need to be told to slow the F down because they are so aggressive in the tactics. And here's a perfect example. This guy, all right, so he killed Kyler Ellingston early Sunday morning in McHenry in the SUV, and apparently the kid even called his freaking mom saying, hey, this guy is chasing me. Brandt reportedly called 911 to report the crash. So he ran over the kid, called 911, was like, hey, I just want to report a crash. Authorities said he was allegedly drunk at the time, which should be noted because that's not an excuse to do anything. But apparently, sometimes when you get drugs in your system, you get alcohol in your system, you become the person you ultimately want to be. The douchebag you want to be, the aggressive person you want to be, the funny person you want to be. And this guy ultimately has an agenda and wanted to cause harm. Court document said he told the 911 dispatcher the teen was part of a Republican extremist group and was calling people to go after him as an unspecific political argument. I don't know what that means. This is an unspecific say that 10 times fast. Unspecific political argument. Ellington's mother told the police her son freaking called her before the crash. I like that, like, New York Post is calling it a crash. Let's call it a murder. How about that? Asking she knew Brandt, she said that I guess I can't say murder, allegedly murdered. She did that and told that she not believe her son knew him. Brandt fled the scene of the incident and then was arrested at home. So he runs over a kid and then leaves him. And here he is. Nice guy. But this story should be everywhere. This story should be on the front page of everywhere. With a call to calm down, with a call to maybe say that Biden was being a little over the top with this whole ultra MAGA agenda, that Biden is being way too extreme with his rhetoric and he needs to chill out and stop being an angry old man. This should be a call to relax. But this story is being treated like a local event. That happened there. It doesn't really affect me. It's not really the story to be told. Of course, I have to address the obvious thing in the room is this. If it was the opposite, if the kid ran over this guy, there would be protests. There would be, The View would have an all 24-hour newscast where they would be talking about how aggressive and extreme the right is. But instead, this happens and we pretend like it doesn't happen, much like most of the murders that happen in Chicago on a weekly and weekend basis. The left, the corporate media pretends like it's not real. We'll wait till the facts are out before we judge what actually happened. Imagine if they did that for any other case. They wouldn't. Because it doesn't fit their narrative, they want to take this one slow. Okay, we just want to make sure we have the facts right. I don't want to say anything that isn't true. Okay, but if it was the opposite, you would probably say something immediately. Well, we got to get in front of it. It's different. If this isn't a call to you, to me, to be reminded that the corporate media, the press, is not your friend. They're not giving you what you need to know for the day. They're giving you what they want you to know for the day. And that is a huge distinction. I've been in conversation with people on the left. I put a video out where 60 Minutes said, Mr. President, you're well below 50%. And I took a snippet of that and I said, this is an interesting thing to say. To say you're well below 50 is interesting when his poll numbers, his approval numbers are well below 50. But he chose 50 because he didn't want to say 40. He didn't want to say 30. He wanted to make it sound like it was better than it really was. And that's the bottom line. These people will manipulate and choose their words very carefully so that you don't get the full picture always. Because if you were to get the full picture of things that are going on in the world, your eyes wouldn't be directed at the left or the right or the AOC. It would be directed much higher, and you'd be staring at things that they don't want you to see. They don't want you to pay attention to, because then you and I would lock hands together and say, oh, we need to stop fighting each other and point our eyes to those in power. And that's the bottom line. And here's a perfect example of this. This story should be everywhere. It's insane. It's crazy. And it's a perfect example of where this country is going. Election season is coming. You better be ready, because I don't think this is going to tamper down. This is only going to rise up, as most of the things that people are voting for are very emotionally charged, period. The guy looks like me. Yeah, he does look like one. My bank account is well below one. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Pickles. I got into so many conversations with people on the left of saying, he said well below. I'm like, are you that stupid? Do you just not understand that words have meaning? Is that what's going on? Because, like you said, my bank account is well below $100 trillion. Of course it's well below it. But you gave such an egregious estimate, much like the AG is going after Trump and his alleged numbers for his apartment complexes. God, you gotta get him. We're in a crazy society. People like don't argue with the things that I'm saying. They just tell me I'm a douche. Like, I got so many comments about this week about how I'm a douchebag, I'm a piece of crap, I'm a horrible human being, whatever. Stupid ginger, soulless ginger. I got so many things from the tolerant left, which they're not tolerant. They're violent and they're extremists, and they're the ones that want all the power. But of course they call you what they're doing. All right. But let's continue down the line, because I think Fox News had a good segment about this exact thing. But I appreciate you, Pickles, for saying that my bank account was well below 100 trillion. So it's like, I didn't really know how to respond to these people. Like, are you dumb or you just not get it? Like, I'm well below 90 years old. Sure. Which Trump used the state property tax appraisals value. Yeah. The whole AG thing in Trump, New York, it's just she's a political pawn. That's all she is. She's just ramping up her base for election season coming up. And it's all a joke. They're making a mockery of the position of Attorney General, is what they're doing. They're children. But this might be interesting. Let's see if there's anything interesting from this. But please keep chatting. So the numbers are wrong. Then the government lied. Oh, imagine that. Imagine the government's lying.
Another story the liberal media is largely ignoring is the
I love that she says liberal media.
murder.
I think they slowly changed it on Fox News from the media, or what did they used to say? They never said corporate media, but they would just be like the media or big media or mainstream media. That's the word I'm looking for. They would always say mainstream media, and now they're like liberal media because they're basically mainstream now. like if you have the number one talk show, late night talk show and then Tucker Carlson pulls in more numbers than CNN and MSNBC combined, you're the mainstream now. People are watching you. All right. I can say that you can't.
Another story the liberal media is largely ignoring is the murder of an 18-year-old in North Dakota. Taylor Ellingson was killed early Sunday morning after 41-year-old Shannon Brandt crashed into him with his SUV. The teen had called his mom to ask for help while being chased around the small town. Court documents show a drunk Brandt admitted to striking the pedestrian with his car because he had a political argument with him, and he believed that he was calling people to...
Hey, you know what? Hearing that, though, I completely believe this, because the people I get in political arguments with the left, they are clearly violent in their reaction towards me and towards things I say. Where the right will just be like, I don't agree with you, or I don't believe you on this, or something like that. But the left is violent with their words, and you're the one that's just supposed to take it, I guess, because if you push back, you're the one going to jail in the end.
To come get him. And Brandt admitted to state radio that he hit the pedestrian and that he was part of a Republican extremist group. Kaylee, there are so many horrifying and troubling things about this. You know, this wasn't a fist fight that got out of hand. This wasn't some type of gunfight. This was a political argument, allegedly, and there was enough premeditation for this person to get in his car and drive and follow and chase an 18-year-old because he was a Republican and because that murderer believed he was a Republican extremist.
This is insane. And remember, we saw this in Portland, Oregon with Aaron J. Danielson, who was also killed. And that was an incident where you had Trump supporters and an Antifa individual, and this young man lost his life. So we've seen this before. I don't know that we're going to see any accountability here. And what I mean by that is if there was ever any incidents of violence tangentially related in any way to something that was on the right, I would be asked about it at the podium. In fact, it would dominate an entire briefing. I wonder if Karine Jean-Pierre will be asked about this. I don't know if she will.
No.
I have the same standard now as I did then, which is third parties are responsible for their actions. Even though President Biden rather said horrible things about MAGA Republicans, they're a threat to the Republic. They're a clear and present.
I mean, if you call somebody a threat to the Republic, I mean, it makes sense why he's doing it. I mean, this guy, I'm sure, believes he's doing the Lord's work. He is ridding the earth of MAGA Republican teens. I mean, it's such an insane idea. But it's 2022, and this is just the reality of the political climate in today's world. People are off their freaking rockers. Accountability is a swear word for the left. Yeah, dude, 100%. And not only that, if you keep them accountable, or like when inflation is high, they keep spending and then they have to face the realities of inflation, and they're bitching right now about the interest rates going up. And like, you reap what you sow. They don't like that idea. They're such children in a sense where they just scream until they get their way. And if they don't get their way, they become extremely violent. And that's just the reality of it is. If people aren't calling that out, if you're listening to other people and they're not saying that, like, don't listen to them anymore because they're weak. Like, I cannot take it anymore and pretend like these people are just going to I'm going to be able to convince them of the truth. You just can't. That's why I constantly, like, I will just block people. Like, at least 30 people call me a douchebag in this one video. I just block them because they're the type of people that will report you. They'll try to dox you. They'll try to swat you. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth just being like, you know what? I'll wait. Hopefully they'll come around. Maybe they'll listen to me once. Maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe we can actually have a real conversation together. That's never going to happen because they don't want to. They're just like, submit to me or else. And that's just the reality of where we're at in today's political climate. And it's disgusting, and it makes me sad for what is to come, because there's no turning back from that kind of violence. All right, and keep listening. Sorry.
It's in danger, the things he said in his speech. He's not responsible for violence. This is a third-party actor. But I wonder if the media will use the same standard they did with the right, which is you are responsible if, in fact, it comes from that ideology or that wing of the party. I wonder if they will use that same tact with the left. I hope they don't. I don't think it's...
If I was to wear a dress and show my legs off in this podcast, would there be more people that watch me?
responsible, but I am not holding my breath for that question to be asked at the press briefing.
You teed this up perfectly. So we actually have a montage, Jimmy, we'll get your thoughts on the other side, of exactly what happened during the Trump administration, which is the vilification of the GOP for all acts of violence underneath that particular administration. I wonder if we'll see the same tactic here. Watch.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represented extremism. The extreme set of MAGA Republicans has chosen to go backwards.
The left demanded accountability from Kyle Rittenhouse for a clear-cut case of self-defense. I know. They still don't believe Kyle Rittenhouse. They still think he got off easy. They think that he should be in jail, rotting in hell. Like, they genuinely think that. Do I think Kyle Rittenhouse should have been there? Probably not. But he was, and that's just the end of it. And the other people who attacked him. I mean, what are you going to do? But that's the world we're in. It's just like I want to say Kowalski? No. What's that couple in Missouri that, those protesters showed up to their house and then they had their guns? Yes, do not point your guns at other people. But like those people, the left wanted them to go to jail for the rest of their lives. I mean, they looked freaked out, and for good reason. I'd be freaked out too if a freaking angry mob came to my home and started screaming and stuff like that. I mean, you can't just these people think that you're just supposed to live in fear the rest of your life if you're a true Republican. I think I get to the point now where I'm just tired of being silent. I'm tired of being in business meetings where I'm just not supposed to speak up. And I just think that we need to start changing that narrative. We need to stop being afraid because of our cowardice and not talking up and not speaking up, they feel more powerful. And so the more you can speak up, the more you can just be active and not be silent, the more they will start to realize they are not the majority power, and they don't have all the right answers because they think that they're the most logical thinking human beings, and it's the right that's illogical, which is the complete opposite and not based on reality whatsoever. I'm never going to finish this video.
Full of anger, violence.
Keep chatting, though. Let me know what's going on, guys. What are you thinking about?
MAGA
What's on your
Republicans
minds?
don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They're a threat to our very democracy.
It's ridiculous. No, it's completely ridiculous. There's obviously a double standard, okay? If this was in this instance...
And another thing, I get so tired of pointing out the double standard. It doesn't work anymore. It never worked. You call the left saying that they're a double standard. They know about the double standard. They don't care that you like Fauci doesn't care that you show up old videos of him saying the complete opposite of what he says now. They don't care. Their reality is based on emotion. And so with emotion, you can go with the ways of the wind. You don't have to be consistent. You don't have to be, logical. You don't have to be grounded in your thought process. You just have to just feel it. If there's a silver lining to the dookie covered rainbow, it's more and more that they're starting to speak up. Yes, I completely agree with you, Papa. I am starting to notice there are more and more people, just moderates or people that used to just be like, I don't want to think about politics. I just want to do my job, go home, feed my family. I think those people are starting to go away because they're realizing if you do not get involved, if you do not know what's going on, you're just going to be a useful idiot. And that's just the reality of it. Like, if you were just one of these people who don't want to engage with politics, don't want to read the news, don't want to know what's going on, you're just a useful idiot. And that's the unfortunate, like, reality of it, because you're just voting on people based on emotions, based on their name, based on how you feel like you should vote. And it's just, and you can't do that anymore. Even if it's Republican, even if it's Democrat, like, you can't just look at their titles. You have to know who these people are, because they lie to you. It's a quote, Batman. They know, they just don't care. Exactly. Man, it's been fire over here, Papa.
It's Republican running over a liberal. Pelosi would be calling for car control right now, which she uses because of her husband. She does need it in some capacity. But let's not act like this is the first time the media has thrown this blind eye towards left-wing
The media. Stop saying the media. You're the media.
violence. When President Trump was in office, we had a Bernie supporter shoot up a congressional baseball game. And there was no, referendum on left-wing speech and how they were othering conservatives. But I think that's the biggest issue right now, is his actions are his own. But we've entered a dangerous place where we have begun to other Republicans. It's now acceptable to chase them out of restaurants, show up to their house, show up to their kids' schools. And again, the actions of the fringe are their own, but let's acknowledge there's a fringe out there, okay? And if you stake your positions on Republicans want to kill women over abortion, what's the AOC position? Republicans want to kill women who have ectopic pregnancies. Somebody's crazy enough to be like, wow, if the Republicans really want to do that, I might be helping by killing one of them. And that's why you wind up in the situation that we're in. So it's kind of disgusting.
That's right. And I argue that the extremism actually has bled over into the main population. Jackie, we know by polls that over 73% of the population, after Joe Biden's speech vilifying Republicans, and we saw...
Last week, forgot Maxine Waters had condoned violence against people who disagree with it. Yeah, get in their faces. Like, could you imagine if a bunch of people got in Maxine Waters' face? I mean, that woman is so frail. How dare her even say that? It's just like somebody who should never be in a fight telling other people to fight for, like, get in a fight. It's just like, shut up. Shut your mouth. But this is just the reality. They feel emboldened to say and do whatever in order, because no one is going to call them out on being extremists. Because if you... Like, if I was to post this story on Facebook, I guarantee you all my leftist friends would go, yeah, but what about January 6th? And you're just like, what does that even have to do with this story, for one? But, like, to act like there's any similarity in this, we're just in, like, like I said, reason seems to be gone, and having sit downs and talking is just becoming harder and harder. And I think I'm starting to think now that I start this podcast, like, it's almost virtually impossible to have honest conversations with people on the internet, regardless, even if they seem genuine, because you're not going to learn from each other. They just want to teach you how to think rightly. And that's just how it, like, constantly is all the time. Finish this.
Portions of that there that then Democrats
talking.
believed that MAGA Republicans posed an extreme threat to the
Kaylon, what up? How you doing, man? Talk to me. What you up to today?
United States of America. Rhetoric matters. The president's rhetoric matters. And then we see things like this. I argue with more continuity. I mean, we saw, Sarah Sanders chase out of a restaurant, right? There were so many things that happened. Under the watch of the media and the loose-lipped people who have platforms that result in actual violence or intimidation that is ignored or perpetuated. And then here someone is dead. An 18-year-old is dead because that driver said he was a Republican extremist.
It's a sad situation, but I think that it really talks about how divided we are as a country. Yes, many people pointed the finger at President Trump and said he was so polarizing, but this president hasn't been any better.
No, Trump was not polarizing. They just made him become polarizing by their stories, by the way they viewed a lot of his actions, and they ramped up this idea he was polarizing. They ramped up this idea that he was racist. None of these things were true. So I don't even agree with a lot of the rhetoric that comes out of the right or people in mainstream media about how, like, divisive he was. I'm like, show me something that's divisive. Like, I watched almost all his all his speeches, him live all the time, and he was trying to do the complete opposite, and they would constantly critique him and say the opposite. Like, I just heard a podcast the other day just talk about how he just lies all the time. Like, where do you get this from? You're just making this up. But I'm not like a Trump or die person, but like I want to be consistent and don't want to just lie. Jesus Christ, the bar of extremism has become pathetically low. I know. Well, extremism on the right is low, but extremism on the left is so high. They're like, hey, this isn't anything. Even though this guy ran over this kid and killed him, that's not extremist. Well, I got paid today and currently eating 5-piece KFC. That's what's up. No meat. They would just turn into a cannibal. I would just turn you into a cannibal, 100%. Dude, 5-piece, dark chicken, white chicken. What are we talking about here? And why didn't you go to Popeyes? Because Popeyes is better. Oh, come on, Kaylon. Everybody knows that human KFC is the best KFC. I know. Just ask Beyond the Meat. Even back when I was brainwashed, I knew that Trump didn't tell people to inject bleach. I know. There was like so many things like that they would just take out of context, and it was just white chicken. All right. No wonder you're on my podcast. That's what's up.
Better, and he got up to the platform and said, "Elect me. I'm going to unite the country," which he hasn't done. That's the
I
first
like to get
thing.
a little
First,
white,
he started
a little
polarizing
dark.
us by being passive aggressive. Now, as you can see from the clips, he's coming and doing it in a very outright way. And what's happening here is that we've got a country that keeps going out, and more divided. Another poll for you, based on conducted in August, based on U.S. Census surveys. 43% of Americans say we're going to see it come to the point where we see a civil war in the next 10 years. That's a
What do you call the summer of love? I don't understand. What do you call January 6th, the summer of love, stuff like this? I mean, what do you call that? If that's not the beginning of a civil war, I don't know what it is. A little dark on white makes everything on. Good man. Hey, and this is from Rumble. People think their anger justifies it. Yes, 100%. Chords Willie. The minute they become angry, they're just like, listen to me.
Americans say we're going to see it come to the point where we see a civil war in the next 10 years. That's a staggering amount of people. Almost half the country is saying that it's going to come to that. And you've got a president who's throwing fuel on the fire at this point.
In part because elected.
Kaylon says, I'm going out on a date tomorrow. My date doesn't drink alcohol. Should I be worried? If it bothers you, I wouldn't go on a date with somebody like that. I always think like, I know people like take dates too seriously, but like, would you marry somebody who doesn't drink? If you enjoy going out for a drink, if you are like okay with being sober the rest of your life, and okay with like if they're in recovery or something, and you just want to be like lovely and surrender your desire to drink and stuff like that, then be okay with it. But if you're like, no, I enjoy having a beer, and they're like, absolutely not, I wouldn't go on a date with them. Depends how many children does she have. Oh, Papa, you crazy.
Officials have used that phrase, civil war. So I wonder where the voters get it from. It's not too hard to guess. And Doctor, the other unsurprising thing about this is now this guy's out on bail. And where is the outrage? Where is the media coverage of someone who murdered an 18-year-old for his perceived political views and then is out skipping around town with impunity because he made bail?
Well, you're the lawyer here, but first of all, I can tell you, all these soft on crime prosecutors, I mean, it is doing a detriment to our country, and you're just seeing these repeat offenders go out and.
She don't have none. She watches CNN. Oh, that's up to you, man. Is she hot though? You got it. Like, it depends how hot she is, I guess.
And commit crime again, but
we're men, we're stupid, all right. We get ourselves into situations we probably regret all the time just because a woman is really hot. That's just the reality of us. We're freaking animals. We're just like what
I find really interesting about this story, this devastating story, is It sounds like he has some paranoia. He's saying that he was thinking that he was calling and having people come after him. And this, I would be very interested to see the psychiatric evaluation.
Okay. Then I understand, man. Do what you gotta do. Sometimes we do things we'll regret later on in life.
And that should have happened to this individual rather than just releasing him back into the public. And this really just plays to the point that we do have a rising mental health crisis in this country. A lot of people are not seeking care. They're not seeking treatment. And when you have an individual such as this who's drunk, he is running down a teenager, and because he has these paranoia ideations, the fact that they just let him back out and they didn't actually assess him to see if he is a threat to society, even though he's already proven he has, I mean, this is a complete failure of our system.
I can't imagine the victim's mother who was on the
I like that she said that, the paranoia ideation
crisis in.
Where do you think that comes from? Where does that come from? And is it paranoia, or is he just listening to what these people are saying in corporate media and politicians? Papa's about to drop some wisdom. Kaylon, I'm going to say this with complete sincerity. Fake a case of 24-hour Ebola. Give her phone number to Dunkin' Donuts in New Jersey and go lift some weights.
In this country, a lot of people are not seeking care. They're not seeking treatment. And when you have an individual such as this who's drunk, he is running down a teenager, and because he has these paranoia ideations, the fact that they just let him back out and they didn't actually assess him to see if he is a threat to society, even though he's already proved.
That is kind of crazy. The guy is like freaking out, losing his mind. He goes and murders an 18-year-old, and they're just like, yeah, no psych evaluation. I guess that makes sense why you killed him, right? We're just in a crazy world. Speaking of a crazy world, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I don't know what your all's position are on abortion or not, because I know I have people that believe different stuff on my podcast. I believe that everyone has the right to live. So here is something interesting coming out of you at the Today Show. You know, because you're constantly told that like these babies, or they call fetuses or clumps of cells, because it makes it sound easier to murder a child. Liberals are paranoid due to radio waves, man. Dude, of course they are. 5G, man. MG toe, baby. All right, so this video is nuts. They're talking about that the babies in the womb can actually, react to flavor of substances. So, I'm sorry. I thought this was just a clump of cells, not an actual human being, but here we go.
So you guys have to see this. Have you heard about this? So this morning, we wanted to show you, I'm trying to change the subject, some amazing baby faces. Look at this. So researchers in Britain wanted to know if babies in the womb react when the mom ingests a flavor of food.
You mean cells in the body?
And this is what they saw.
It's
Do you want to
microwaves,
guess what was on the left? So the left is a baby in its resting state. And then on the right, you see how he smiles 20 minutes? The mom ate some carrots.
On the left with the...
That was just a resting state.
That was
Okay, maybe I take everything back. Nobody likes carrots.
the resting, but you like the carrots.
She had like a carrot pill.
So were there other foods?
Yes, there were other foods. I'm glad you asked. You want to look at this baby's
Sure.
reaction before? Mom had kale.
Wow.
So here's the thing.
What about if mom had ice cream?
Oh, so the baby has emotional reaction based on the food you're eating? Yeah, you're right. They're just clumps of cells. They're not actually human beings that have natural emotions and reactions to things like simple things like carrots and kale, because everyone knows carrots are way better than kale, and kale tastes like crap, especially if you don't put anything on it. But yeah, they're just normal. Hey, Papa would like to say something to me. What? Hey, problematic bitch, your mom called. She's upset. She threw out all the steak again. Seriously, give her a call. She's worried about you. My mom owes me my rent check for the weekend. Everyone knows that. She needs to get back to me ASAP. But this is just insane. And I'm not here to condemn people that have had abortions in the past, because that's not my agenda whatsoever. But this idea that it's just, it's like going to the gym. It's like punching a card. It's like, chords on Rumble says resting bitch face. That's resting baby face right here. Resting baby face.
I don't know.
Why would they go with...
Let me.
Kaylon says, so if mom went to talk about what face would the baby make? Probably be like, it'd be like, oh, yeah, muy bueno.
Explain.
A baby who speaks Spanish in no time.
Vegetables.
So the study's co-author says the image
Gracias, gracias, mama. Mamma mia.
This could just show muscle movements when a baby's reacting to maybe a flavor that's bitter. So you shouldn't interpret it whether, it's happy or distasteful.
Don't you love I like watching these people because they're just like, we don't want to give too much. Well, we don't want to admit that's like, that seems too humanistic. And so we don't want to like go down the rabbit trail too much, even though she is all about it, which I love. Keep speaking your truth, girl. Anybody remember Yo Quiero Taco Bell? Yes. Yo quiero Taco Bell. And then with the little chihuahua.
No, I think that's how I do it. Yeah. Because once they get out of the womb, it's that same look.
Yeah, it's the same look.
Isn't
that funny? Though. But it just goes to show, what you ingest.
Yeah. You are what you eat.
And the 3D imagery is pretty cool. Really, they didn't have that when
Wait, what? It just goes to show you that when you ingest, and then Al Roker starts talking about like you as a human, like an adult, and just not mentioning the entire fact that it's about a baby. I feel these people were paid less, they would appear slightly more human. Probably, man. Because I don't get paid jack, and I'm about as human as it gets.
Or what you eat.
And the 3D imagery is pretty cool. Really, they didn't have that when I was pregnant.
No.
Only the women are admitting that they're babies, and the men are just like, yeah, we're not going to talk about it.
Did you get 3D?
Yeah, I got 3D.
Really?
And honestly, Ollie and Rusty look exactly like they do
The 3D
in this
images?
picture.
Well, I guess that's supposed to be how it works.
And my kids had chalk drawings.
But if that doesn't like debunk a lot of things that what happened in the womb, I don't know what was. I don't know what will. Because you still have people that are, calling for abortion all the way up until birth, which is just insane. Al Roker needs to go back to reviewing hurricanes. Yeah, I wish. All right, Daddy DeSantis spoke today. And when Daddy DeSantis speaks, we listen. Talk to me, Daddy.
I reject socialism outright. I reject...
This is as loud as I can get it. I'm sorry.
I reject Marxism, Leninism, communism, any of these isms that have come out of a political theory that basically denies the worth of each and every individual, denies people's aspirations to reach for the stars, denies the fact that we have inherent God-given rights. I reject social...
Disgusting. No wonder they hate him so much. And who is behind him? A bunch of white supremacists, as always. God. Every time I see morning news shows, a part of my soul dies, but whatever to Satan speaks, my soul repairs itself into a glorious fashion. I love that they call him to Satan. It's so stupid. But speaking of stupid, I'm sorry I killed a little bit of your soul, Papa. I do apologize sincerely. But this is a game we always play on my show. Was Nancy Pelosi drunk today? You be the judge.
And we saved the planet. We're saving the planet with record $360 billion to save the planet and generating jobs and cleaner air and cleaner water and jobs and security for our country. And we saved the planet. We're saving the planet with...
And we saved the planet. We're saving the planet. And we're saving the planet. 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 380. Yo. Find it, fix it. What's good? DeSantis is a pimp. Straight up Mac Daddy pimp. Somebody give that guy a fuzzy hat and a snazzy cane. Post. Hate. Oh, Nancy. She kept going today. Let's see if this clip's any better. They're touting up that whole new Inflation Reduction Act, and which is still funny that they're calling it that but they're slowly starting to admit that it's a huge bill that where we're spending tons of money with, which is just unfortunate in a time of recession, even though we're trying to redefine the word recession. Here is Nancy Pelosi, and we play this game. Will it make sense? Will it make sense?
And I'm wondering if you think he should run in 2024, or do you think the party...
Oh, yes. We're saving the planet with jobs and security by saving the planet by making jobs and saving the planet. Exactly, Papa. All right, here's Nancy Pelosi being asked about Biden running again, which is hilarious. They're all pretending like they don't want to talk about Biden running again. Cords on Rumble says, drunk, paralyzed face. Always, man. Is Ukraine.
And I'm wondering if you think he should run in 2024, or do you think the party should put someone else forward who might be better?
President Biden is the president of the United States. He did a great service to our country. He defeated Donald Trump. Let's not forget that. If you care about the air we breathe, the water we drink, the education of our children, jobs for their families, pensions for their seniors, any subject you can name.
What? Any subject I can name?
You can name.
Yes. Since Biden defeated Trump, the air tastes sweeter, the meat tastes meatier. The San Pellegrino, sparkling natural mineral water, tastes more watery. We can all have a good time now that Donald Trump is out of office. We were full of anxiety. What the frick, man? He did a great service by defeating Donald Trump. They always think that's like such a huge slam dunk. It's so stupid. Sean King, what up? How you doing? Welcome to the Fellow Extremist Podcast. I felt 50 hyper inflated bucks that will not make sense. No, let's eat Pelosi. It might get to the point though. Make sure you have your emergency food supply for the winter. Oh my God, Trump was a big baddie. I know. Let's not forget, okay?
Service to our country.
Biden was a service to our country because he defeated Donald Trump.
The United States, he did a great service to our country. He defeated Donald Trump. Let's not forget that.
Also, she's totally acting like she didn't hear the question or is not going to answer the question, should Biden run again? They constantly pretend like that's not like a thought. They don't even want to acknowledge it. So in a sense, by not saying anything at all, you're saying everything we need to know. You don't think he should run, period. We did defeat the wrong enemy. It wasn't Trump. The enemy is Biden. Yes. Somebody needs to bring back the pie slingers. Oh my God. You remember when somebody threw a shoe at George Bush? I remember watching that live and watching him duck it like a champ. I don't even like George Bush, but the fact that he ducked a shoe like that was balls. Eat Pelosi by her. Look at her. There's no meat on those bones. Any meat left over would be picked by decades of alcohol and benzo abuse. I'm not serving her to my family. Oh yeah, we need to build a statue of Biden. Yes. Oh God, could you imagine that statue? There'll be like children surrounding around him. All right, now to trigger people in my chat. Just kidding. All right, I don't know if you watched. I don't watch Sean Hannity. I'm not a huge Hannity fan. I think he doesn't know how to ask a question because he constantly lectures people as he asks a question. But he had Donald Trump on last night. And I wanted to hear some of these things. I didn't hear any of these views. As always with my videos on my show, they're always live reactions. We're reacting together. I think that's the uniqueness of my show, is that all my thoughts, everything that come from these videos are just spur of the moment. We're just figuring this out together. And don't forget, Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump. Papa says so hard that he needed big tech and corporate media and to fortify the election. Yes. Oh, are you ready for the next fortified election coming up in November? By the way, we will probably be doing like a 24-hour live stream election day, even though nothing will be solidified those days. But I always have fun on election day on this channel. We enjoy things too much. We have too many laughs. I have like 5 or 6 news channels going on at the same time. We're just going back and forth. We're making fun of stuff. We take breaks. We have a good time. So This year's live stream will be bigger and better than ever. Hopefully we get swatted. I'm just kidding.
Well, then this is a big part of what I want to get into, and that is, okay, I mentioned, for example, 33,000 deleted emails. We talked about...
Baba says, I don't watch Sean Hannity, but if Sean Hannity teamed up with Kevin Sorbo and Jesse Ventura to solve conspiracy theories, I would consider watching if it returns. Oh my God, yes. I'm just asking questions. Jesse Ventura. Yes, I love conspiracy theories. Chords on Rumble says you put on a special show. Hey, thank you. I try my best. I do what I can. One man show, no scripts, no producers, just me and my computer and my green screen behind me. Oh, you know the lefties will be out in force. Oh, dude, 100%. The lefties will be doing everything they can and to stop what's going to happen in November. I'm expecting a red wave, but I'm not totally convinced what will happen. I think it'll be spicy. I think there'll be some upsets that no one predicted is what I think will happen. Sean King, my imaginary lawyer is telling me that you're proposing violates intergalactic law. I didn't see Sean King's thing. The voice in my head is telling me to raid Papa House and letting him watch Joe Biden campaign ads for 48 hours. Oh my God. Could you imagine watching Joe Biden's campaign hours for 48 hours? Maybe that's a social experiment I could do on myself on this channel. Just like, oh my gosh. I would go nuts. I would memorize it. I would lose my mind. And I don't think it would be worth it. I think I would have to go to counseling the rest of my life and then go on medication if I had to watch Joe Biden ads for 48 hours, especially if it was the same ad.
Well, then this is a big part of what I want to get into, and that is, okay, I mentioned, for example,
charity stream.
33,000.
Yeah, the charity is for me to get out of my mom's basement per usual. Mom, one day I'll get out of your basement.
Deleted emails. We talked about Hunter Biden's laptop. We talked about in that laptop, Joe Biden is implicated many times by his own son. He didn't want to pay all of Dad's bills. He didn't want to pay for his repairs.
I'll help by supervising, please.
The big guy gets his cut. Tony Bobolinsky confirmed the big guy is Joe Biden. He met with, we now know, about 14 of the foreign business partners, which means he lied during the campaign. You don't see anything happen there. For 3 years.
Nothing's going to happen there. I don't believe anything's
So do we have equal justice
no,
in this country?
No, we don't, and it's very unfair. It's a very unfair situation. You mentioned the word prosecute. I don't think prosecute. I don't think this is prosecutable. Under the Presidential Records Act, there's no retribution or prosecution. You're supposed to negotiate. We're talking about documents. We're talking about documents that actually are being watched over to a certain extent, and I would say to a large extent by the Secret Service, if you think about it. But I can't imagine the word, you mentioned the word prosecution. I don't hear the word prosecution.
No, I'm saying they didn't prosecute them.
No, but I don't see how they could prosecute me. How do you prosecute somebody?
But they didn't raid their homes.
No,
they raided this home.
They certainly didn't raid their homes. They certainly didn't raid their homes. And when Hillary broke up all her phones with the hammers, and they did the bleach pit, all the things that happened were incredible. Well, you could also say 33 million documents or pages with President Obama. That's very questionable. 33 million, not 33,000. Happens to be a similar number, 33 million. They're fighting over them or arguing over them. The problem that you have is they go into rooms, they won't let anybody near them. They wouldn't even let them in the same building. Did they drop anything into those?
That's my favorite thing when Trump does that. These people.
Files. Or did they do it later? There's no chain of custody here with them.
Wouldn't that be on videotape potentially?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're in a room.
Okay.
Crazy. We got some chats to go over. By the way, did you like my thumbnail I made? It's so stupid. Did you hear in the Venezuelan president let out prisoners and they're headed to the border? No, I didn't hear that. Where's that news story? Did you see that? I'm curious. Stop being racisms. The Venezuelan refugees are adding so much needed culture and diversity to inventing new ways to murder. Yes. I am curious what the backlash will be with all the Venezuelans coming here. Will they be more conservative because they realize the implications of communism? The Voice is telling me to release Hunter Biden's internet history. Sean King, please release Hunter Biden's internet history. I still need to watch the new Hunter Biden movie. Has anybody seen My Son Hunter? Is it good? Please let me know in the chat. Hunter's search history is like going to a 90% porn, 10% crap. I can't even read that out. Speaking of porn, I am on a mission. I'm going to do a deep dive maybe this weekend about why I think Twitch is worse for our next generation than TikTok. I think people have it mixed up. I'm going to do a deep dive because a Twitch streamer just got busted again for having sex live on Twitch. And what will happen to her? I wanted to like My Son Hunter so badly. Oh, so it wasn't good. Sean King says the movie is good. I think I heard it on Steve's video stream. So is it subpar? Is My Son Hunter like just subpar? I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to be that great. I kind of knew it wasn't going to be that great, but it's just kind of like some of the Daily Wire movies. I'm not a fan of them. I think they're kind of corny, but you got to start somewhere. You can't. I can't expect it to be as as great as Hollywood because they just don't have that same amount of money to enjoy it. I'll send you the link to the story. Perfect. Make sure it's full of, not a link. Make sure it just automatically downloads to my computer. I feel like My Son Hunter was trying way too hard to be cool. Oh no! All right, I'm gonna watch it. I gotta check it out. Okay. Spoiler alert, a lot of crack pipes in the movie. No. And that's one of those things, like, I don't care. I feel bad about Biden and having a son that is, addicted to crack because it's not a fun thing and it's a devastating thing and it's tough. But again, I just want to focus on his business dealings and how he got so rich. How about that? I think focusing on his crack use is not really effective way of tearing down the Biden administration. Robert Davi has some interesting ideas, but I feel like the movie has no tone. Okay. Spoiler alert. Okay, I just read that. All right, here is Donald Trump admitting what we already assume, saying that the gas prices are going to go through the roof after the election. Duh. But it's amazing how many people don't believe that, but here's Donald Trump saying that.
When you left the presidency, gas was $2.20 a gallon.
Well,
it was
actually,
now double.
Les, you have to go back to the date of the election. So you go back to November 3rd. Don't go back to January 20th.
$1.90.
It was less than $2, but during that period, it was $1.87, and during that period, it was also $1.50. We had gasoline. I mean, it was incredible what was happening.
So our borders were secure, gas was cheap, energy was cheap. You leave office, the consumer price index, the inflation measure.
Jeez, Hannity, why don't you make out with him?
There is, 1.4%. Now we're, 7 months in a row at 8.4%.
Donald Trump, you're incredible. You smell great. You got great hair. I remember my life was perfect when you were president. What are your thoughts?
It's going to be much higher as soon as the election's over. They're artificially. I filled up the strategic reserves when oil was cheap. I bought 75 million barrels at a very, very cheap price. Filled it all up right to the top. First time it happened in 50 years where it was filled to the top. And they've taken that and they're giving it to people. It's supposed to be meant for war and for the military. Right. They're giving to people to keep the oil prices down before an election. That's where it's being used. When the election.
And we're selling to people like China. No big deal there. Our besties. Remember we did that video just that last week of Russia and China doing joint drills in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Yeah. Thank God we're getting rid of our strategic petroleum reserve and selling it to China. No big thing there. Sean King says, I am sure Hannity have a stalker shine of Trump in his house. Oh, I'm sure. I'm totally sure.
Election is over. Gasoline will go through the roof.
All right.
And so will your heating bills.
Yes.
So will your electric bills.
100%.
Think about it.
And I'm kind of concerned about what the reality of these gas bills and what that's going to look like at the end of the election and what that's going to be. But, you know, I'm going to be here for you guys when that happens. Where did that money go, by the way? Did Biden pocket the dough? Oh, selling it? I don't know. No one knows where, like, government puts their money. They just know how to spend money. They don't know what to do when they receive money. They're just like, I don't know. How do we spend this? Okay, here we go. Another clip about, Biden. Oh, his, Trump saying that FBI took his will. Why would the FBI take his will? Which would be interesting.
Probably because he's giving Putin all his money. Because he's obsessed with Putin? You better watch what you say, boy. Why? What are you going to do? I'm going to get you. Come over and get me then.
Okay, let's listen to this clip.
2 of this question is this.
Papa says, that's the thing. Biden sold the government property to China. Where is that money? Oh, God. I know. I don't know. Where's the money that's going to Ukraine? I don't know. Where did $15.3 billion go to? I know it went to a lot of equipment, but, you know, did that money go to Lockheed? Did that money go to Northrop Grumman? I mean, what are we talking about? A lot of people here will be evicted before Christmas if prices keep going sky high. I have to resign for I'm renting. I have to resign for my lease in a few months, and I'm kind of concerned what that's going to look like.
Part 2 of this question is this. They took your passport, they took your medical records, they took your tax records, and probably the scariest part to me, and this is why a broad warrant like this to me would be dangerous. We do have a 4th Amendment. They also took, 500 pages of attorney-client privilege information? Have you gotten that back, by the way?
A lot. I don't know. I really don't know. They took a lot. I think they took my will. I found out yesterday. I said, where is it?
Am I in it?
I think they took my will.
Sean.
Could cause a lot of problems.
Sean, am I in it? Oh my gosh. Just admit you want to make out with him. Jeez, bro. Papa says Mega Maga is gonna challenge you to one-on-one battle and will absorb your powers. Yes, that's right. I'm gonna come on over and take it down. By the way, do you like my little man dancing around here? Look at Trump. He's dancing. Oh, he's on my microphone. Look at him go. Yeah. Look at my man just dancing. He dancing. He doing this thing on my microphone. He doing this thing. Yeah, baby, get it. Get it, baby. Go ahead, get it. Go on and get it. Sean King says, I think we all need to invest in ski masks before Christmas. Why? So we can start robbing banks together. Oh, even Sean Hannity's laughing at that.
No.
That could cause a lot of problems if that gets published from people that won't be so happy or maybe will be very happy.
Okay.
But no, I think they took my will. No, it's a horrible thing.
Part 2 of this question.
I like that he's laughing about it. He's like, no, actually, it's a horrible thing. All right. Here is Trump talking about what it felt like to be raided by the FBI. This could be interesting.
Let's talk about where we are right now. We're at Mar-a-Lago.
Papa says, Sean Hannity, in my will, he's getting 6th generation iPod Classic with a $3.47 gift card to Nordstrom's. That's awesome. Hannity is a fanboy. Of course he is. He's fanning out. You know, he's... I mean, he's no different than CNN having Biden on. I mean, or MSNBC especially. I mean, they would be the worst. Like, just like Biden. So, like, what do you do when you like put your shoes on? What is that like? Tell me.
Let's talk about where we are right now. We're at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
Where were you when you heard that your personal home was being raided?
Golf
and
course.
What did you think?
Say golf
I
course.
was in New Jersey. I got a call in the morning
Golf course.
from somebody that's here. You know, person works. Sir, the FBI just came in. I said, what? The FBI? Who? And they go, the FBI. And I said, how many people? Many, many people, sir. Many, many people. And
so many people.
I couldn't believe it. And they wanted to do it quietly, silently. And I said, what do you mean silent? They're not silent.
Silent but violent, some would say.
because I watched the way they were so horrible to so many people that you know and that I know that are good people, where they just attacked them at the house. And they wanted to do it quietly. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we started getting little...
Hey, I have a question for you guys in the chat. If I ever did like a call-in show, of course it would only be on Rumble, but just strictly call-in show where you guys could call in and we could talk, we could just BS with one another. Would you guys call in? Let me know in the chat. Knock, knock. Who's there? The FBI. The FBI who? Uh-oh, we got a joke. Come on. Is there a joke? The FBI no knock search warrant? What are we talking about now?
Strange calls like from a group called The Media, if you've ever heard of them. And they said something strange is happening at Mar-a-Lago. There are people standing at the gates with AK-47s or some kind of a very sophisticated gun. And what's happening
I would faint if I meant Trump.
And when I heard that, I said, well, let's put out a notice that we were attacked or raided or broken in by the FBI. I couldn't believe it.
They wouldn't allow your lawyers to go with them as they went through this entire
They wouldn't
facility,
allow. We
22
sent
acres.
lawyers to the property.
So here's my question. They did ask you to turn off your security cameras.
That's right.
But you didn't do it.
That's right.
Will you release those tapes publicly?
Well, they've asked me not to do it because they feel the FBI agents might be in physical harm, in danger, because
you've been on television.
there is a fervor in this country.
Release
This
the
country is so
tapes.
tired of this stuff. They're really, and so I have not done it.
You could pixel out their faces to
I guess
protect
they
their
could do
identity.
that. Yeah, I guess they could do that.
I
When
wouldn't.
I listened, I said, look, I don't want.
Why would you protect the FBI? Who gives a crap?
I really believe that most of the people within the
Just kidding, FBI, if you're there. Love you, baby. Okay, love you guys. Please don't raid me. Thanks.
FBI out of the top groups.
Papa said I would participate in your call-in show, but only under any circumstances. Those are my terms. Take it or leave it. I guess. The FBI gonna take your wife's nightgown? Oh my God. Sean, I would. If I met Donald Trump, I would be. Well, first I'm 3 foot 5, 3 foot tall, so he's. I would just feel so tiny in his arms that I wouldn't know what to do with myself, and it would just be wonderful. I'd probably go in for a hug. Cord said that would be cool. You do a good live show. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I put a lot of energy in this live show and cutting up clips. I would love to do a call-in show because I like talking to people. It's hard doing a one-man show. I don't know if you guys know what this is like, but doing a live one-man show it's not for the faint of heart. That's why most people don't do it. That's why most people, when they do live shows, they have more than one person in front of the camera. It's weird talking to yourself. I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump to think the FBI were armed with AKs, but for some reason that doesn't bother me. Oh boy.
Most of the people in the FBI, they probably voted for Trump. I don't want to have anybody hurt. But they came onto the site. They wouldn't allow any legal representation. So they go into the rooms, like my bedroom, my office. They go into the room.
Your wife's closet.
Wife's closet.
Oh my God, the way Sean Hannity just said that was so creepy. Your wife's closet. Tell me about that. What was that like? What's in her closet exactly? Can I actually be your wife?
Son's
Wife's
bedroom.
room. My son's bedroom, yeah. There's a picture of Hunter Biden and Barron Trump. Barron looks so...
Why would you go into any 13-year-old boy's room? How old is Barron Trump? Is he like 13 or 14? Like, stay out of that room. That is a gross room, for real. Papa says, I've actually heard that there's a massive civil war going on within the FBI right now. I've kind of heard that too. And that's why I always you never want to, group people up in one group and say that everyone reacts this way, because there's going to be people like me in the FBI that are working that are just looking around like, this is bullcrap, dude. That's why you had that whistleblower yesterday talking about what's going on in the FBI being the story I did last week that was on Tucker Carlson last night. I saw. But I did it last week. That's right. I'm ahead of Tucker Carlson. That's why I try to tell people. We do the news that people talk about tomorrow. But On Tucker, last week we talked about how the FBI whistleblower was going around saying that the FBI is pushing other FBI agents to find white extremism so they fit the narrative, and that's why you had that whistleblower coming out and saying that about the FBI pushing it, telling them to look for it, and they're putting more agents to find these people and all kinds of stuff like that. Papa says, tell me what her closet smells like, Donald, and spare no details. Whips and chains. I know. Okay.
Innocent. And Hunter doesn't look so innocent. They said his room was raided, but his wasn't. No, it's a terrible thing.
Hannity is so creepy. I want to hear that part again.
Let's talk about where we...
You know, person works. Sir, many people do it quietly, silently. I've ever heard of them. Kind of a very...
Lawyers to go with them as they want those tapes publicly?
Well, they've asked me not to.
No, whatever. All right, next video. We have so much to go through. I don't know if you guys saw this today, but Stacey Abrams talking about how babies don't actually have a heartbeat after 6 months. I mean, she's a doctor. She's wearing a white coat, so I trust her. I was trying to find wisp and chains and air freshener in my local grocery store, but I'm thinking I might have to opt out for incense. All right, here's Stacey Abrams. Oh, isn't that loading? What's going on? Freaking GOP, dude. GOP research. All right, let's do a little refresher on this one. How about that? Get this little reload. Get in the chats. Tell me how you're feeling. How we doing this Thursday? Is anybody going to watch Thursday Night Football? I think I might watch it. But again, it's freaking two teams I could care less about. All right, here we go. Finally, loaded up. Locked and loaded, baby. Stacey Abrams. Here is Dr. Abrams with the white coat. So I trust her. She was on Star Trek, not you. So you don't know anything about the science like she does. But listen to her.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her. There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away.
Dude, I did not hear that video until now, and I am freaking dumbfounded by that statement. I feel like I need to hear it one more time.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I did not hear that clip until just now. Oh my God. That is the stupidest thing I've ever... And this is who... We were just doing The View the other day saying how they dreamt of Stacey Abrams' VP ticket. Is this not a... Like, this is like the definitions of conspiracy theory. What? The heartbeat is a manufactured sound so that men have the power in that situation? What is this? What are we in? What reality are we in right now? How is this person the logical thinking person on the left? I guess I'm supposed to just I guess that should make sense to me because the left is completely lost their minds. But what? This is what they love, this woman with all their hearts, mind, and soul. That is the most insane statement I've ever heard. I feel like I need to hear it again. My favorite is like watching people on stage with her and they're just like, yes, girl. Yes, queen. Get it. Yes. Love what you're saying. Love it.
You crazy as hell.
Medea, shut your mouth. What? Okay.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her. There is no...
A manufactured sound? Is that what...
No such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound.
A manufactured sound? So, like, the doctors are in on it, the nurses are in on it, the people that created the machines so you can see babies in the womb are in on it. Like, what? Now that's a rabbit hole I want to go down. What the frick, dude? But you're right. She is the most logical choice for Georgia. Do not vote for her. She knows what she's talking about. There are machines that are faking baby heartbeat sounds so that men have all the power. Because she is an independent woman who don't need no man. Good for you, girl. Keep spreading the truth. Oh, I'm just dumbfounded. Let's go through some of your chats. Anyone that wait. Okay. Everyone has to be made dumber by listening to her babbling. Dude, I feel like I just got dumber and dumber listening to that. Papa says, I got to record an episode for my channel. I don't want to give it away any spoilers, but looking to be a pretty mediocre episode. Don't do it then. Do something that you enjoy doing. If you're going to do something for your channel, make sure you have fun with it. That's what I always say, because people can tell if you're not really in it. Wait. How in Christ do you have a manufactured sound? I think she says sound, but she's a Southerner, and I'm a Southerner, so you can hear it. I can hear it. Anyone that get that close to Abram's piece of flesh disappear from their bodies. Yeah, their brain cells. Sean King, that's not true. The flesh either rots and melts away depending on how woke we are. You guys are crazy in the chat. It's still developing. Yeah, exactly. That sound must have been manufactured since the beginning of time. Exactly. If I have all the power, why is it possible for me to get... If I have all the power, why is it impossible for me to get a date? Oh, Papa, come on. Be better to yourself than that, man. Wait, don't answer that. You're not, tapping into your inner male dominance. I don't know if you saw this story, but this guy, Brushewitz, said that Den Crenshaw was made an effort to get this kid fired, and this is on the Steve Bannon show, so this could be interesting. But Dan Crenshaw was trying to get this man fired because this kid was calling out Dan Crenshaw on some of the things. And this is from the Freedom Caucus. I don't know if you know anything about the Freedom Caucus, but you should look them up. They're pretty good. They do a lot of good stuff, holding Republicans to actually be Republicans and not actually be rhinos like Dan Crenshaw. But here we go.
Yeah, too. And then after that, Dan really became obsessed.
Wait, another chat. Sean King says, I keep dreaming. I dream of kidnapping Derek, carrying him into Bora Bora, and let him do his podcast while chained up in my basement. My God. Bro. Get out of here with that, dude. I'm calling the cops on you. I'm not kidding. All right. What's this video?
Yeah, too. And then after that, Dan really became obsessed in a way with me. He started calling my clients, offering them money to fire me and fire my company from their campaigns. And they all said, Dan.
Whoa. Slow down. I got to hear this. He did what? He called your clients after, because I saw both those videos, and Congressman Crenshaw did say it about the Freedom Caucus, and the little girl just asked a basic question of something he had said. I mean, she wasn't trying to be offensive. She was almost like saying, hey, you said this. Just by you posting that, he then contacted your clients to fire you?
Yeah, it was a bizarre situation.
Do you guys remember that video that was being passed around? A little girl calling out Dan Crenshaw, saying that Jesus was just a man and somebody to look up to. It was like a moral figure. And then the girl was like, no, he was God. And he got kind of mad at her. And she was just a freaking child. But I guess that was like the whole thing. Papa says One-Eyed Crenshaw is trying to get people to fired. It doesn't surprise me. Deep down, I always knew that guy was a dick. Yeah. I know you're joking, Sean. Keep it up, man.
He also had his chief of staff email my girlfriend at the time. Why is Alex so obsessed with Dan? Why we tell him to back off? But yeah, he would call my clients and say, this is Congressman Dan Crenshaw. I see you're running for office and Alex is on your FEC reports, but I need you to fire him. And in return, I'll give you a $5,000 PAC check and my endorsement. And all of the candidates that are trying to win a Republican primary is like, Dan, please don't endorse me. We don't want your endorsement. We see how your endorsed candidates turn out. They always lose. So none of them fired me, so I can't sue over tortious interference because there's no damages. But he did make an effort to try to get me fired, and it really just backfired.
Hold it, Alex. This story's too good. Slow down. He called your clients and said, "I saw in the FCC report you've got X strategy. You got Alex signed up. I'll give you a $5,000 support check and an endorsement if you fire him." And you're telling me nobody hit the bid?
Yeah, nobody hit the bid. And there's a great guy named Corey Mills. He just won in Florida 7. And I'm really excited about Corey. I think he gets it. And he was one of the guys he called. He said, "Corey, fellow military man here, can you please fire Alex? He hurts my feelings on Twitter." And Corey said, "Dan, you're a congressman. Why are you getting into the mud with a 24-year-old on Twitter?" And Corey makes a great point. Like, if a guy like me, 25 years old, on Twitter can get under the skin of a congressman, imagine what the Chinese Communist Party can do.
It's fair. That's crazy. If you think like Dan's doing it, you know that they're all doing that kind of crap, Also, by the way, Justin, this just broke. $45.6 billion in pandemic unemployment aid have been stolen by scammers, according to Labor Department watchdog. You mean to tell me that government money is being abused? Nah. What are you, nuts? Sean King says Crenshaw is a rhino. Crenshaw cares more about Ukraine than he does about you. You think that you can buy me a check for $5,000? Whatever happened to money orders? Yeah, exactly. Get a good old fashioned money order. But it's amazing the fact that it just kind of shows you how these politicians work and things that they know have worked for themselves. There's no way that this is a one-off thing that he's ever done or any other politician has ever done. It just reminds you of the power that these people think that they have. It's kind of insane of I'm going to get rid of you. That they claim to be all about freedom of speech, but they aren't at all. Also coming on the pike right now, there are a bunch of anti-war demonstrators in Russia right now over some of the Putin's comments. Just to be interesting. 1,400 war. What's hilarious is that I was denied unemployment due to a technicality. That of course you were, man. I mean, I know so many people that didn't get unemployment when they got fired from their jobs over the pandemic, which is one of the saddest things ever.
Latest on the war in Ukraine and the mounting pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. There are protests breaking out across at least 38 cities in Russia. They're not mass protests, but they're out there. A human rights group in Russia estimates as many as 1,400 demonstrators have been arrested following Putin's order to call up at least 300,000 more troops. So for more on this, let's bring in ABC News contributor as well as former Defense and State Department official Steve Ganyard. Steve, good to see you. Of those arrested during these protests in major cities, Moscow, St. Petersburg, many have reportedly been served draft paperwork once they've been detained. It's like press gangs going out just rounding up military-age men. What's happening there? What's its significance?
Yeah, Terry. Well, apparently there weren't enough prisoners to take out of the prisons to boost Mr. Putin's army in Ukraine. So what's interesting here is that Mr. Putin has not burdened the Russian people during this war. In other words, there has been no general mobilization. The economy is not doing great, but it's doing pretty well because it's propped up by oil revenues.
Yes, the ruble is doing good due to our actions. Continue.
But he hasn't put in a draft. About the past 10 years or so, he spent a lot of money trying to professionalize his military to be more like Western militaries. Obviously, it's failed, and now he's having to go back to conscription because of the Army's failures in the Ukraine. He has nobody left. He has no reserves.
Yeah, he's got a large population, which he's going to mobilize to...
Interesting. It's so interesting watching people just smile while they talk about this. Like so many of these people in corporate media want World War III, and especially politicians. So they're just yeah, he's totally losing. And he talked about using a nuke. It's hilarious at the same time. It's we know he's in a corner, and that's a good thing. What? Wait, what? What? I'm sorry. I don't want to go to war over Ukraine. Do you? Like, Putin has been hoarding gold bullion like it's yeah, I know he has. Their money is actually backed by something unlike ours.
To some extent. Can he win still?
300,000 troops is not going to help him win. And the bigger question is, what is winning? So let's talk about the troops. The troops themselves will take at least 6 months to train properly. Who knows how long it will take them to find 300,000 military-aged males to put into uniform. So it's a long time before any of these conscripts will see the Ukrainian battlefield, unless he just needs cannon fodder. But the other question, Terry, is what does winning mean? What does winning mean to Mr. Putin? Remember when he started this special military operation, it was retaking that 30% of the Donbass that he hadn't taken in 2014. So as he begins to lose more and more in the Ukraine, does he readjust his definition of winning, and does that ultimately...
Can we talk about those phones right here? How old did these phones look? What is that?
lead to a negotiation?
You know, going into this war, this invasion by Russia, the Russian military had a reputation.
Papa says, I don't want to go into details over Ukraine mess, but let's just say that the issue is extremely complicated. 100%, man. And Putin's speech was taken out of context. Of course it was. This idea that it's good versus evil in this war, you don't understand war. Like, it's just... And especially you don't, like... People don't understand the history of Ukraine, what's going on in Ukraine, what the government is like in Ukraine, what they're fighting. But I'm not saying that Russia is good. I'm also not saying Ukraine is good. So this idea that, it's good versus evil, I just think, like, I'm just at the point now in my global politics that I wish America would just get out, mind our own freaking business for once, because we have a lot of problems in our country. I don't know if people have noticed. Maybe we need to start going to war and get things right in our own cities. I don't know. I feel like not feeling safe in an American city should be a priority for people. I don't know. That seems crazy. Those phones are actually pretty brilliant. Analog phones can't be hacked. Bingo. I knew I had you do have a bunker, don't you, Papa? I knew it.
That had never been tested, but is one of the foremost military powers in the world. How much damage has been done to that? What have we learned about Russia's military?
It's absolutely shocking. There were people, military analysts around the world, who said that the Ukrainians would do very well, that they would stand up to Russia, that they would give them a good
Papa,
fight.
I completely agree, man.
Nobody predicted how bad.
Cord has said on Rumble, the military age there is now 18 to 65. Holy crap. Dude, that is old. There are some 65-year-olds that I've seen on cruise boats that should not be in military fatigues whatsoever. But then again, there's some people in our own military that probably shouldn't be in the military.
The Russian.
But we need to be woke. We need to be all accepting. And as our military missed their target by an extreme amount this upcoming year, I just can't figure out why they're losing numbers in the military. Why would no one want to join the military? It seems weird. Papa says, if by bunker you mean a 3-foot hole in my dog frantically dug in my mom's backyard, then yes, I do have a fact of bunker. That makes two of us, man.
Military would be. It's absolutely shocking. My whole career, we looked off to the Russian, the Fulda Gap, and these Russians who were going to be 10 feet tall, and they'd be in Berlin in a day. Turns out that they can't even beat a country that had no significant military until the West stepped in. So
it's funny. It's kind of ironic hearing this guy talk about how, like, Russia can't even beat these people, and you're like, have you not watched our wars? Afghanistan, ring any bells? Yeah, you're right.
It's a shocking defeat.
Yeah, remember all the money that was pouring in for the farmers in Afghanistan?
And it just shows how long the Russian military has gone under this regime of corruption.
I just think that people are just think it's still like the 1700s, the 1800s, where like if you're a very powerful nation, you can just take over little nations, and that's just not the case anymore. Technology is gone too far for the average person, that these mega countries and militaries just, they have a fight on their hands. You can't just go in and wipe people out anymore. It's just not, it's not a thing. Here is Kamala Harris. And here is Kamala Harris. Papa says, Russia lost millions of men while burning their way across Europe. Yes. World War II, while the Americans were losing in the Netherlands. Well, there you go. Yeah, people don't really like to talk about Russia's contribution to World War II. Like, just the fact that they were one of our allies during that time. People just like, let's pretend like that didn't happen. It was all America and Britain. That's who was fighting. All right, here's Kamala Harris bringing about unity to you and I. Finally, we have somebody that wants to unify the nation.
And immediately, of course, following Dobbs, extremists, so-called leaders, that's what I call them.
Oh, sorry.
Extremist so-called leaders
okay.
across our nation
Wait a minute.
began to pass and enforce laws to criminalize doctors, nurses, healthcare providers. I mean, think about those folks.
Right. It's like, why would they do that? If they believe it's murder, like, why wouldn't they just let them murder him? Doesn't make any sense.
Why they entered that profession.
Right.
Their sense of calling and duty.
Yeah, if their calling is to, do what's best for the patient and, put a life above their own, why not just kill the baby? Like, keep going, Kamala. You make total sense, girl. Go ahead.
To heal and help. And these so-called extremist leaders are passing laws to criminalize
you just said that.
these folks.
Right.
Passing laws to punish women.
I knew that's what they were doing. They're punishing women, forcing them to have children. Oh, it's just like that one show that everyone talks about and pretends like that's the real world in which we live in. All these white males are making women have babies and they don't want to have babies and no one wants to have sex with me and what? She's the worst. I can't. Kamala Harris, hang on. Let me grab some holy water. Spirit of Christ compels you. I'm melting. Just like that, your side passed laws to prevent doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals from earning paychecks unless you blindly agree to. Oh, Papa, talking about injections. Oh, man. Yeah. What happens to our licensing boards? People are obsessed with taking on doctors for good reason, boards and stuff like that. They don't understand the health profession. You must turn your gaze onto licensing boards, not the hospitals per se. People need to be paying more attention to licensing boards in which people get their doctor's license, their healthcare license, the nursing license, whatever. Those are the people that are forcing people that can't be conscientious objectors that will fire those nurses and stuff like that. I wish people would pay attention more. How I know that? Well, that's another story for another time. What does he do for a living? Okay, here we go. Yeah, but fight the licensing boards. Those guys are freaking authoritarian douchebags. I'll just put it bluntly. What up, high head, low head? What up? Here we go. I was on the chat. Here we go. I was on and the chat wasn't working. What? Dude. I swear YouTube is messing with me. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I don't want to be rude, or crazy, but I'm sorry I have to do this to you guys. I'm sorry. Look, there are two videos I need to watch that I saw. The press secretary was on The View. And I'm just like, I got to know what she said because she's talking about Ron DeSantis and losing her mind. So we got to make fun of it, obviously. But then there's a Vice interview with Kamala Harris that I just feel like I need to see because I'm sure it's full of crap. I mean, beauty and elegance and gorgeousness. But all right, here we go with the View with the press secretary. It could get a little spicy up in here. Fry cook Derek, you're a fry cook, aren't you? Yes, exactly. Just frying brains over here. All right, here we go.
So many hot topics happen.
Whoa, what?
There are so many hot topics happen.
How about a hot topic? Let's all go down to hot topic.
Happening at home and abroad.
Damn it, Derek, why would you do this to me? I'm sorry. Cordsville on Rumble says, I think your tube messes with you. Oh yeah, YouTube messes with me like crazy. Rumble's more consistent. I like Rumble because with Rumble, like you can send super chats to like creators you like, and they don't have to meet a criteria. Where YouTube, I have to have a certain amount of watch hours now. It's just so dumb. If you want to do this for a living, YouTube makes it so hard in which to accomplish that. They're like, they don't want you to grow, especially because I'm not on the left. They don't prop me up, and they make it like almost impossible for creators to be a creator unless if you have millions of views, they prop you up first, and then people like me, they're like, I'll put you at the back because we don't trust you yet. Which I guess makes sense, but it also makes it like almost impossible for small. If you were to ever go, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, it's going to be my dream job, you better be ready for the grind, because I've been doing this for like a couple of years, and it is a grind just trying to figure out the algorithms, figure out what's the best time to post, how to make a good show, how to make it captivating, all kinds of stuff. Papa says Whoopi orders pizza, extra hot toppings on her 6 morning breakfast pizza. Yes.
There are so many hot topics happening at home.
Let's go to all the hot toppings.
We have a lot to discuss, so please welcome back White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
Woo, go girl.
I wonder if Joe Biden has developed the ability to think things into existence now. I wonder if it's something that happens when...
Whoa. What? Okay. I wonder that too, man.
What?
Once you become president, or whether you, because he could think a lot of folks out of there. He could just think about. Does this happen to? I didn't know where you were gonna go with that question. I was like, oh.
No one knows where she's going with that question. Oh, John Perini.
Classify things by thinking about them.
Yeah, just thinking about
magical
it.
Powers,
just thinking
like a
magical.
superhero.
We all wish we had magical powers.
Oh, this is a Donald Trump joke about him saying that he's declassifying stuff. Ha 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 ha.
I'm sure. Well, as you know, I can't say much about any investigation, but of course the president believes
thank God he's being
that
investigated.
it is important to properly handle classified information.
Yes.
That is something that is important to do.
Exactly, and that's why he has his son Hunter do it for him.
And as it relates to this case, we're not going to comment
Papa.
on it. We're going to let the experts do their thing.
Well, let's do this. Let me do this to you.
Experts.
Yeah.
You know what
I got you. It's right in here. I got you. I got you.
Madam Secretary,
Yes,
so the,
yes,
the last time you were on with...
Dude, who watches this show? Like, non-ironically like me. Like, what? What's going on right now? It's just like a bunch of nonsense. I love this show, though.
You were pretty unequivocal that President Biden was running again in 2024, because I think I asked you that.
Sunny is like one of the most pompous, arrogant assholes on television. I love it. She like always like looks down and is just like, well, you know, I am the smartest person on this show to get started with. She's the worst. I feel like if you combine all the views' mental palace, you have enough intelligence to tie a shoe, but only on a good day. Yes. If you combine all the mental powers on the view, you would be able to tie your moccasin. Major butt kissing, Madam Secretary. Exactly. That's what this whole show is about. Who watches the show? Mostly people go on the laundromat at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Hey, that used to be me, man.
You were on with us. You were pretty unequivocal that President
Biden
was running again in 2024, because I think I asked you that question. But over the weekend, he said something that I haven't heard him say. He said it was much too early.
No, he said, my intention to run is my intention to run. And I'm not sure if it's my intention to run, but I definitely have an intention to run. I can pull up that clip right now.
To make the decision on whether he will run, opening up the door, in our view, to my view, to potentially not seeking another term. It's almost unheard of course, for a sitting president to waver on running, right? So
right, because he mentally can't do it?
That he said that, the change of tone.
Well, I will say this, and I think he followed up and said that he intends to run. And that's basically been the place that he has been. And I have said that, he has said that, the vice president has said that he intends to run.
Right.
You know, and look, I think for this president and for this administration, it is so important to focus on what's at hand, and that's where our head is at. You know, we have to really make sure that
inflation,
we are living up to the promise that we have made to the American people when it comes to the economy, right? When it comes to
God, I wish he would stop promising things. How about that?
Just on the world stage.
Is Jean Pereira reading notes? Oh no, she's just reading things that she reads over. She's going down her she has 5 things she says all the time about how serious they are about the economy, how Biden is doing stuff, getting stuff done, following around on his promises. Cord says, I think your numbers are too low for too long now. Thank you. I do too. She looks like she's reading notes. Of course, yeah, I'm sure she has some notes written somewhere.
Just yesterday, talking about how we're going
That's
to
why
move
she has
our
that out like
foreign
this.
policy for as Americans, and that is a place that we haven't seen us in a long time, being leaders on that global stage. So that's where his focus is, and that's what we're going to try and move forward to make sure that we're delivering on all of the things that he promised during his campaign. And you have seen that week after week, whether it's student loan, whether it's fighting inflation, whether it's
Oh, so Biden's fighting inflation. Well, he's getting his ass kicked. I'll just say that.
is making sure that the economy works for everyone, whether it's making sure that we have American manufacturing, make sure that we're actually creating jobs and making things right here in America. And that's climate.
Nothing says creating jobs like a recession. I'm following her though.
Climate change.
Inflation Reduction Act. That was mainly a climate change bill, but we'll call it Inflation Reduction Act. We're not liars. We're just dishonest. Wait. That's an awful long way to say we haven't done jack shit. I know, man.
Infrastructure. Those are the wins that we have had in 19 months.
Well, you do mention the inflation and the economy, and right now the annual inflation rate is at 8.3%, and groceries are up 13.5%. People are struggling.
Look at her. How dare you say that? How dare you? How dare you? Who do you think you are? What gives you the right? Why are you the way you are?
But last weekend, President Biden said inflation was up just an inch, hardly at all. I know he was referring to in the last month or so, but I think it surprised some people who are
19 months, that's not a bad
to put
thing.
food on the
That's
table.
not a good thing. Exactly.
It's the number one issue for voters. So going into the midterms, how can the president assure Americans he feels their pain and has a plan to help?
Whoa, sounds a little weird on my end. 19 months is my life significantly less pleasant. Oh, God. 19 months is a long time, man. And don't forget, we have a lot longer to go.
So the president understands that when it comes to the economy, he understands how much that's crushing families. He gets it, that people are sitting around their kitchen table.
I agree. That's why he's making it a lot worse for you and me. But he's doing a great job at it.
and trying to figure out how are they going to pay for their groceries. And so that's why he's made that his number one economic priority. If you think
can you
about
make
how
it
hard he
not
fought
number one
for
anymore?
the Inflation Reduction Act, for some people who don't know what that is.
Yeah, tell me what that is.
It is going to bring down costs for
How so?
prescription drugs. I think people may have a senior citizen or grandpa or grandma at
For Medicaid.
home, and they know they're paying thousands of dollars a month just to get that prescription drug. So this is what this is going to do. It's going to cap that to $2,000 a year.
Oh, so it was a prescription drug bill. Oh, my God. I thought it was a huge spending bill. I'm so confused. I don't know how to read.
That's a game changer. That is a game changer for so many Americans. You think about energy costs coming down, and you think,
How are energy costs coming down when we're putting more money in non-efficient ways in which to get energy? I would really love to know that. Papa says, I can count how many times that my family has talked about having breathing room at the kitchen table. Dude, I talk about that every night at the kitchen table in Scranton, where I live. I come home, I ride the train home from work. I go in, I just look at my son, who's 35 years old. He lives in my basement, who wants to be a Twitch streamer. And I say, you just need a little bit more breathing room, but you need to get out of my house. Actually, I can't. I have 12 times, talked 12 times.
think about the gas prices that we have been able to fight so hard because of the president's historic,
Exactly. I'm just making stuff up at this point. I don't know how the gas prices are going down. Tell me.
policies that he's put forward. We were able to bring gas prices down about
$1.30
people per gallon every day this summer. And so it's on his mind. We're continuing to work on that. There's the bipartisan infrastructure legislation that we passed that you mentioned, the American Rescue Plan, which helped create an economy.
Papa says, I aspire to be a Twitch influencer, but I don't think the world's ready to see me in a hot tub. Oh, you just got to be in a hot tub or have sex live on TV, on Twitch, and you could be a Twitch streamer. I'm telling you, that's how you do it. Twitch is for video game nerds, right?
That we have not seen in a long time in modern times. So again, this president understands what this means, and we're going to keep working on it. And I just got to say this: while we are talking about lowering prices, we have Republicans out there who didn't vote for the Inflation Reduction Act. No. They didn't vote on it.
I can't believe Republicans are trying to be conservative. It just doesn't make sense to me. A good way to reduce costs? How about sending billions of dollars to Ukraine? Yes, that's his number one. And again, remember in that interview, the 60-minute interview, Joe Biden said, and I quote, there's basically no limit to the amount of money we're going to send to Ukraine. He says, whatever it takes. Open checkbook. It doesn't matter the cost. Who cares? It's on your wallet. It's on your back. The Americans, we need to rise above and protect them. We must over any other country. Why that country? I would love to know that. Please tell me that.
They're bragging about it a lot right now.
They're bragging about it.
There's a lot of wars. There's a lot of wars. There are a lot of countries that are struggling right now. So, please tell me why. Does it have anything to do with bereavement? No.
Want to let him, have a success.
I mean, I think they are not bringing forth solutions.
But do you think the name of it is a little misleading? Because the only thing is the Congressional Budget Office says it would have a negligible effect on inflation. Although it did lower prices, and I agree those are all good things, does it really affect?
It does. I will point you to 126 economists who have said this is going to be a change maker.
126 economists? Oh my God. Oh no, we are freaking doomed. I don't know who those 126 economists are, but they need to be all fired immediately. I'm sure they'll have a job in the administration in no time. Who would have thought the Republican congressman would actually vote for the interests of the constituents? Yeah, I know. Imagine that. Remember when Biden said that he had a bunch of Republicans come up to him and say that the Inflation Reduction bill was actually a really good idea. They just didn't want to say it in public because they were afraid the constituents would be mad about it. And he was like so dumbfounded by that. Who are these people? Say their names.
It's going to have
If only
effect
there
on
was a word for
inflation. It's
that.
going to lower costs for Americans. Just think about, we're talking about prescription drugs. We're talking about energy costs. We're talking about day-to-day things, items
talking.
that Americans have to pay for.
See, that's the
It's
problem,
going to
Gene.
deal
You're
with
just
that.
talking.
And the climate crisis is going to put forth an historic amount of investment in making sure.
She's like, she wants you to just agree with her, and if you ever critique anything she says or ask her to clarify on anything, that's when the aggression comes out. Don't make me critique or clarify anything I'm saying ever.
Sure that we're dealing with the climate crisis.
And I real quick want to get in on border security. Obviously, a huge issue. Vice President Kamala Harris.
Here's the Republican on The View.
Said the border is secure, but we know we've seen an unprecedented migrant crisis. More than 2 million apprehended by the end of September. And the Biden administration has started engaging in lateral flights to help alleviate the pain, basically, on border communities. What is the administration planning to do to deal with the ongoing crisis of illegal immigration?
So let's step back for a second, because there's a lot going on that we just make.
Papa says we're talking about Easter bunnies and chocolate rainbows. We're talking about electric trains, talking about quality lampshades. See, Gene Perrin, I can make these words up too. I know. It's so easy. This is just the facts, Papa. These are the facts. And if you disagree with me, I don't know what to tell you. You're obviously watching the wrong shows. The only shows that you need to be watching, the only channels you need to be watching is MSNBC. You need to stop getting your information from podcasts out there. They're not doing it as good of a job as these people that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to tell you what the real facts of the day are. Get over it, Papa. Shut your mouth and just pay more for your gas and be happy about it. Buy electric, gosh dang it.
We want to make sure that folks who are watching understand. So what we have seen.
Crowd, what up? Let's take back for a second. Translate. I'm going to not answer your actual question and deflect. Exactly. She's so good at that. And that's why I think I'll be good as a press secretary. Whoever's going to be president, hire me as press secretary. I would love it.
In these past couple of months, even this past year, is that we have seen an increase with Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, and Cubans.
This is the new narrative. That all these illegal immigrants are Venezuelan, Cubans, and Nicaraguans, right? This is the new narrative that they're now trying to change it to where you go, oh, okay, yeah, they're escaping communism. Great. Wait, Nicaragua's communist? Nah. But Cuba, Venezuela, things are going, these are all things, so we should be celebrating. Yes, they've caught Afghanistan illegal immigrants at the border. It's okay. They've caught Chinese and stuff. It's just Venezuelan and Cubans, and they're just good people looking for jobs. I know it's mainly just, men in their 20s and 30s, and then like we just need to be accepting. And my thought is when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, but they're still illegally crossing, right? I don't care where they're from. How about that? Because if you want to come here illegally, it tells me that you might be up to some sketchy stuff. Okay? It might tell me if you're willing to break the law to enter a country, you might not be the best citizen I could possibly dream up. Just a guess. I know you could. There's always a possibility. But there's also another possibility that, rapists, murderers, and stuff like that, people escaping police or crimes that they committed, those people too come in. Let's not talk about them. It's just people doing jobs that you don't want to do. So shut up, you stupid white person.
We have seen
that's impressive. A long way to say we're not doing
121% increase since last year. So we're talking about places that have a communist regime, and they are trying to leave that communist regime. And so you're seeing this issue across the Western Hemisphere.
So I get paid the big bucks,
when you
people.
Look at Northern Central America. It has the migration there. It has gone down the last 3 months by almost 43%. So we have a new type of migration that's happening. All of our regional partners are dealing with that. We are talking with them. We're in constant communication. This is why the stunt that Republican governors are doing is so shameful. It is so inhumane. Because while we're trying to fix a problem that was decimated, an immigration system that was decimated by the last administration.
Cords on Rumble says immigrants are overthrowing European countries. Oh yeah, we talked about that on Tuesday. You could see some of them are gangs are fighting each other. You have Muslims and you have Indians are kind of going after each other right now in England and stuff like that. So, celebrate diversity. Praise God. What about, and again, I love diversity. I love cultures and stuff. I love different foods. I love different religions. I love different people groups. But this idea that like you just need to accept mass migration as if it's like a good thing. I'm happy to have a bunch of great people coming in, doing good things, want to do good things, want to start businesses, all that kind of stuff. But it's some of the people that want to take advantage of these people and some of the people that cross the border. And we're still pretending that the cartel isn't a terrorist organization, not trying to destroy our lives, our children's lives, with fentanyl, drugs and stuff like that, and completely controlling the border and using the border as a way to make money and stuff like that. No one wants to have that conversation. It's all about these people crossing. It's never about the cartel. Should tell you everything you need to know about the situation, which is just insane. Hi-Hat Low-Hat says, what about the migration of seahorses? Dude, I've been tracking them for years. Papa says, hi, Pot. My name is Kettle. Papa Burlap says, the communication there have been significantly better than comms they had with an American citizen they abandoned in Afghanistan. Oh, my God. Dude, the Afghanistan debacle is one of the most insane things ever that people in the left, that I get in arguments with them about saying that it was Trump's fault somehow. They still think that. They literally think it was Trump's fault for what happened in Afghanistan, which is, it just tells you what kind of cult you're in, someone will run up to you, punch you in the face and say, I didn't actually punch you, I pushed you. And you're like, no, I know what a punch is. And they're like, I don't think you do, dude. All right. I'm done with this interview. Done with this crap. All right, let's just finish with this and then a call it a night. This is long, man. Okay. Let's get some good clips from this. Get your holy water, Papa. This is Kamala Harris. Oh, my God.
President Kamala Harris has been touring the country, holding more than 20 events touting the administration's efforts to protect reproductive rights and
just give me to the interview. I don't want to hear your
and campaign on behalf of
I punch you in the face because it's Trump's fault. Exactly.
Pro-choice candidates. In an exclusive interview with Vice News, Harris says abortion rights should be one of the top issues for voters during the midterms.
That's the only issue they're running on. I hope you guys know that. That's all Democrats are running on is abortion. They feel like it's their slam dunk, and in some ways it is, but also that is the only issue. I wish Republicans would only focus on how bad the economy is, because I think it would hit more people's minds, but I agree. I've never been a fan of abortion, so there is that. Derek, you know that I don't like double dipping at my stash of holy water. Good man, good man.
You're welcome, thank you.
Madam Vice President, this is such a personal issue for so many people. Do you feel like you have a full understanding of what Americans are going through right now when it comes to reproductive health care?
I have a pretty good sense of it. I've been traveling the country, talking with folks of every age, every gender, every race, every demographic, including geographic demographic, and
she's the best. I freaking love her. That generation demographic category.
And people are afraid. People are really afraid. People are afraid because those who
so afraid they're willing to murder and run over an 18-year-old boy. Yeah, we just saw that.
Might get pregnant are afraid of laws that are being passed that would criminalize them and punish them. People are afraid because of the fact that a constitutional right to privacy that had been recognized has been taken away. And there are a lot of constitutional rights that flow from the right of privacy that therefore are at risk, including the right to contraception, the right to marry the person you love.
What? It's not a constitutional right. Something tells me that Kamala's uterus just went nope.
People are afraid because they're just trying to figure out how could this happen when there's so much that we all thought was settled. Like Roe, a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. We're looking at attacks on voting. People thought that was settled. and it causes people to then concern.
Wait, what did she just say? Attacks on voting? I'm sorry.
Women's right to make decisions about her own body. We're looking at attacks on voting. People thought that was settled, and it causes people to.
How dare you, Papa? Including the right to own a firearm without infringement? How dare you? What? They had muskets back in those days. They didn't have like things like cannons or cannons. Chords on Rumble says she has such great vocabulary now. She wins in vocabulary for me. Attacks on voting, yeah.
Then be concerned that, well, what else am I taking for granted that perhaps I can't, in terms of just the issues that were resolved and settled. So a lot of people are being impacted in direct and indirect ways.
Hi-Hat Low-Hat says, I think she said an attack on voting. You have to be a real person. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine being forced to show that you're an American citizen before you vote. God, that's so racist.
How did access to reproductive health care impact your career choices and your life decisions?
I am the daughter of a mother who dedicated her life to two things.
Oh my God.
Raising her two daughters.
And I was like, I was in a Freedom Silva March walk, and I was like in my stroller, and I was like, freedom.
God, I hope she says that. Please God, let that be true.
And ending breast cancer. My mother was a cancer researcher. And so from the earliest moments that I could sit at the dinner table,
please.
The conversation about women's health was an issue that was the subject of passion.
Papa says, I don't think they had thermonuclear weapons, so therefore nobody should be allowed to own fully semi-automatic rifles 15s with 50-round expanded magazine clips, except the FBI. Amen.
And priority.
I think everyone should own a nuke.
Everything about this issue is an issue about women's health, about women's right to access to health care, about women having dignity in the healthcare delivery system. Those were all the issues that I was raised.
Imagine believing dignity is the right to murder a baby or not. That's what dignity is.
Hearing about, talking about even.
I might not be able to make this whole interview.
And the fact that right now we're looking at this situation where the women of America cannot make a decision with their loved ones, with whomever they choose.
Her ovaries decided to take one for the team and just shut themselves up for the sake of my God. Why? You don't like her model daughter? God, that's so racist of you. Nothing says dignity like slaughter. Spot on, Derek. Thank you. What about my right to own AR-15 pen? 15? Are you in the Pen 15 club? I think I've been thinking about joining.
But instead, their government making a decision about whether you're going to start a family, whether you're going to become pregnant. It is on so many levels contrary to everything I was raised to believe we should do as a system in terms of allowing access to care, but also allowing people dignity in the system. And one of the greatest sources of dignity comes with an individual's ability to make decisions about their own life based on their priorities, not the government or anybody else's priorities.
Or the baby's priorities. That's what dignity is. I should have the right to murder my child up to 13 years old, period. Change my mind. Because I know those teens, they don't need to be, stopping me from being able to work more or go on vacation or own a new car. God, I hate them. My membership to the Pen 15 Club is massive. I have a huge, massive membership. I'm going to save the rest of this video for tomorrow. I think it's going to just get better. So I am officially done. I need to eat dinner. I'm like so hungry. We got on for 2 hours and almost 10 minutes. I did not think I would go on that long. I appreciate every single one of you guys for joining me. It means so much to me that you do. Tell your friends and family about the Derek O'Shea Show. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, you guys are the best. Cordsville, Cords, Willie, in Rumble, Papa, Crow, Hi-Hat, Low-Hat. More shout-outs. Find It, Fix It, Sean King, Kaylon. You guys are my favorite. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being willing to even get in the chat with me. It means a lot to me. I honestly love every single one of you. Seriously, You guys keep me from going crazy throughout the day. Having an outlet like this and having you guys join me means a lot to me, means the world to me. Pickles. How could I forget Pickles for Hillary? Shout out to Pickles for Hillary. Thanks for holding me accountable. You guys, as always, the show isn't about me. It's about you guys. It's about us as a community. It means a lot to me. You guys join me. Drop a like on the video. Helps with the algorithms. Drop a comment. Be my trolls for me. Troll other people that try to troll me. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm going to go make dinner. Enjoy your dinner. I will see you tomorrow. Come hang out with me tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. It's Friday. We'll live stream a little earlier just so we can hang out together. I'm going to live stream earlier on Fridays because everybody needs a night off on Fridays. You don't want to hang out with me on Fridays. You want to go out and get a date like Kaylon's doing right now. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. Have a good night. Goodbye. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Tell your friends and family about the show. I love you guys. Bye.